Today, I'm going to be setting up a fun annual reading challenge in my 2026 reading journal, so stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm Tracy and I want to welcome you back to my channel. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. And yes, we're going to be doing another reading journal spread. I think today we're only going to be doing one because I am going to be doing a pretty big reading challenge setup. It's going to be a 2-page spread. And this is my first time doing this challenge and it's going to be fun, but it's going to take a lot to set it up. There's a lot of prompts and things like that. But we will get to that momentarily. If this is your first time watching one of my reading journal setup videos, welcome. This is actually the 4th one so far in my 2026 setup series. I will have the others linked down in the description box. I also have a reading journal playlist that you can check out that has all of my reading journal videos in that playlist. The other thing you should know is that I set up my reading journal at a very slow pace, which means I set up only about 1 or 2 spreads at a time. I just can't sit down and do a whole bunch at one time. Plus, I film on my camera, so I can't really save a lot of videos for a long period and combine them together. So that is the reason why I film multiple videos, but hopefully that is okay with you guys. So yeah, let's talk about today. So, like I said, we're going to be doing a reading challenge spread, but actually, let's backtrack. I do want to share with you a few things that I did not share with you last time. The first thing was actually my reading reviews. I quickly flipped through it, but I realized when I was doing editing that I probably should have shared this a little bit more with you guys, just so you can kind of see how I'm setting it up, just in case you were someone that wanted to kind of do a template as well in advance. So the reason why I decided this year to do a template in advance is because I have struggled with getting fancy when it comes to my reviews. And this is what I call fancy, okay? I'm not talking about stickers or anything like that. This is what I call fancy for, 2025. I've just been struggling in the reading review department. I am more of a fan of the stats and things like that. But I do want to capture my reviews. I think it's important to kind of just note how the book made me feel, what I liked and what I didn't like. So I knew I wanted to keep that in my journal, and I went ahead and set up templates for 40 books. So after I get to 41, I can decide if this is enough space, if I need more or less. I'm thinking at that point it might be less space and I might go down to like 3 to a page. We'll see. But all of these stamps were actually from a stamp set I got off of Amazon. I do have it linked in my storefront. It does go in and out of stock quite frequently. So if it is out of stock, just add it to your cart or your save later or your wish list or whatever. And then it should come back in stock, but it was like $6. It's a great stamp set. So what I'm going to capture is the dates read, the genre, the format, and the pages. Here, I think I'm going to capture whether it was a standalone duology or book number 1 of 4 or something like that in the series. That is what I'm going to capture there. Obviously, I have my ratings here. I do have room if I want to do spice ratings or something like that. However, I think what I'm going to also do, and I didn't have a stamp for it, and I almost forgot, so I probably need to get a Post-it or a sticky note. I call everything that is a sticky note a Post-it, and I gotta realize Post-it is the brand, Tracy. It's not what they're called. But I also want to capture tropes, like just list the tropes, because that might be something I want to record. Let me go. See, I've already penciled that in here. And then here I'm going to put the number of the book. I may do that in advance. Just go and do like 1, 2, 3, 4, just so it's easier for me to find. But I do want to capture the tropes. I don't think there's anything else I need to capture here, but we'll just put that there. And then this is number in series. I will forget, y'all. I mean, I guess I'm filming this video, so maybe I won't. But that's how I plan on doing it. I'm going to write the title here and then just a short blurb. So that's what I decided to do. I did not do this in 2025, and I struggle with my setups. It was pretty sloppy. Where is my reading journal? Just to share with you, I will probably do a final flip through of this journal probably sometime in January. So I did kind of start out Look at that. I mean, this is not like super neat, but I just started out a little ambitious. Oh, I want that too. I want point of view. Point of view, whether it's like first person, second person, things like that. I don't know why, but I kind of want that. That's how I started. Now let's show you where I'm going or where I went. Look, I didn't even do that one. That's where I went. That's where I went. So that's why I did this. Okay. And then POV. Okay. So I did want to kind of share that. I also made a quick change to this page. So the changes, I had washi going around here. It was like purple Alice in Wonderland themed washi. Yes, if you're new, this is an Alice in Wonderland themed reading journal this year. I didn't love it. I didn't love it, especially when you went from this to like the purple, but I love going from this to this. It definitely kind of flows a little bit better. And, you know, in terms of my entire journal now, that purple was just way too much. So I went with this. These are all stickers. Well, these are most stickers that came from here. This is Alice's Journey. This is a sticker book that I got from Temu, but I believe it's also on Amazon. We'll see. I'll try to see if I can find it on Amazon. And if I can, I will link it down in the description box. I'm not 100% sure if this is original art or a combination of both. But yeah, this is what I decided to use. Some of these are things that I had to print out using like Canva and stuff because I had a little bit of extra space I needed to fill up. But I love this a lot better than it looked previously. So that is the change. Now let's get back to my challenges. So I've already done a challenge cover page. Here we go. Remember I said I do things off camera. So yeah, I kind of did the whole Red Queen and the castle type thing. You know, we have the flamingos for the croquet. We have the chess pieces. We have Tweedledee and Tweedledum because I didn't know where to put them. These were all Canva images. And then I actually put the alphabets in there in Canva. I really like that. I think that looks really cool. And then I just used some Simply Gilded washi along with some Live Love Posh washi. These boxes, I think one of them is going to have, I got to figure this out. I put boxes here because I think I want to capture my monthly readathons, which are going to be in my monthly sections. So I would kind of like to keep those here. I got to figure out if I need both of these for that or if I can do my annual readathons on one and my monthly readathons on another. And I was thinking about my annual ones. I can write like whether or not I completed them or what have you on there. So I got to still toy around with that, but that's the idea, is this will almost be like a tally type thing. Now I've already mapped out this challenge. So when I flip the page, you'll know what it is. This is a new to me challenge. It is not a new challenge. These challenges are kind of popular in the booktube community. A lot of booktubers do this. They create it not in a reading journal, but kind of on poster boards and stuff. So that is where the idea came from, but I did use my own prompts. I mean, they're just general reading journal prompts, so it's not like, you know, they're super unique, but I just kind of thought about prompts that worked best for me, that kind of picked at some of my weaknesses when it came from choosing books. I'll talk about that momentarily, but some of them are also easy for me. So here we go. Can you tell what it is? I'm going to do Bookopoly. So here's a Monopoly board. So that's the reason why I said I'm only going to be able to do one today, because this is going to take a while. So this is a Monopoly board. I had to do this in advance because this took a lot of drawing and a lot of erasing, okay? It really did. So I'm going to do the board over here. I'm going to have prompts and things like that. The prompts I'm going to write out, but I do have some graphics that I will pull up in a minute that I did on Canva that I'm going to put like in the corner boxes here, and then the cards, which I'm not going to have cards. I'm going to have one prompt that's going to count as that. We'll go over that. And then over here, I have 12 boxes. I am going to put the dice that I roll. So that's why the squares are here. So I'll just color in dots for if it was like a 6 and a 2 or what have you. And then I will write the book. I will write the prompt and the book I read. So that is the idea behind this. So this is a new to me challenge. This is going to take the place of book bingo. I'm just not going to do that anymore. Just because book bingo was a challenge where I just read books and then went back to see if they fit the bingo board. Same thing with A to Z. I don't think I'm going to be doing that this year either. But this one, I will do a roll, come up with one prompt, and that is the prompt that I'm going to do that month. So there's going to be no points or anything like that. Like I said, this is my own thing. I think there are readathons surrounding this where there might be point systems and stuff like that. Nope, not doing it. Basically, it's just a whole bunch of prompts, and then I'm going to randomly select 12 throughout the year. Unless I get really, really like extra and I do a couple that month, which then I don't know how I would capture that over here. That's a future me problem. I'll probably only do one a month. So yeah, I'm going to have 30 prompts and I'm only going to do 12. So that's okay, because if this is something I like, then I might keep the same prompts in future years. All right. So with that said, let me show you my graphics. I'm going to have to cut by hand, but here we go. I don't think I'm going to use this one, but here's my Bookopoly. So I just merged this all together on Canva. A lot of the clip art are my images that I got from Creative Fabrica, and then I uploaded them into Canva, so they were not Canva images with the exception of the gel. But yeah, and then these are going to be like, was it Community Chest and Chance? Those are my Community Chest and Chance pieces. And then I have icons for the other blank pieces. So yeah, this is going to be a pretty big board. And yes, this is not the size of that. I ended up changing that as well. So I can go ahead and erase this. Okay, our erasing is done. So like I said, I'm gonna have to cut this by hand just because I did it in Canva. And then when I went to go put it in Cricut, it just messed up the dimensions. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with that. All of these are 1 inch. This is what this is. So just in case you have a square journal. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dots across and 6 dots up because they needed to be complete squares, right? And then the other ones are 1, 2, 3, 4, or they're going to be 6 dots up, but then they're only 4 width. So that is how I did that for all of this. I did have to go and like map out the board. Now I'm going to show you my brainstorming. I don't even know if I can read this. This is me mapping out what everything looked like, where things went. So this is how I brainstorm. Yes, yes, it is not all pretty. So I'm going to go ahead, start cutting at least the title out, and then we're going to go from there. All right. So I don't know how to do this. So in the Monopoly game, it's like this. So I don't know if I should do this or just do my own thing. I kind of like it like that, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. But we're going to set this aside, and I'll do that later. I'm going to pull in my cheat sheet off to the side, and I'm going to do these squares first. So I do have a jail because I feel like you have to have a jail. Now, on the Monopoly board, it's like the jail is just like a little corner. And then it says like go around or something if you're like, don't hit the jail, don't land on the jail or something, I guess. I did not do that. So my jail prompt is previous soft DNF. I wanted to do something that was difficult, y'all. I needed to do something that was difficult. So that is why I did this one, because at first I thought about doing like 2 books or something like that. Or I have to do like an extra spin and choose an extra prompt. But I'm like, I do so many challenges. I don't really know how difficult that would be, because I could just pick a book that matched another challenge, So real quick, this is Editing Tracy, and I realized I never told you what I define a soft DNF as. So a DNF is did not finish. A soft DNF is a book that I didn't finish because I really wasn't in the mood to read it at the time. It means it's a book that I may eventually go back to, but it's not going to be high on my priority list. All right, let's go down a little bit further. Okay, there we go there. All right, so that's what that one is. Now we have the go sign to show you what direction to go. Again, I mapped this directly from there, and the arrow goes that way. I guess I could have did it any way I wanted to. But I just found an image. This was probably something that was, I don't know. I got it from Creative Fabrica. Hope it's not AI, but it might be. I don't know. But it's a clock with some cards and stuff like that. So it's very, I Alice in Wonderland themed. So I figured that is a good starting point for go. So I just did an arrow over top of it and the word go. Then we have the Red Queen that says go to jail. I figured let's just go that route for the go to jail. I mean, I guess it goes like this, right? It's in a book. I don't want to turn it sideways. Okay. And then this one is going to be like a reward of some sort. Yes, it's the Mad Hatter. It's a crazy Mad Hatter photo. Again, I just have some creative Fabrica images that I used. And it just says you choose. So I can basically choose any book I want. I do want to make it a point when I'm doing things for this particular challenge. I would like to use unique books. Unless I'm doing, like when I say, so I plan on doing, as of the filming, I'm filming this early, y'all. It is in November that I'm filming this. I don't know if this will go out in November or December. But, hold up. But I'm planning on doing like the Buzzword Reading Challenge, the Gooberthon or the Goober Readathon, Adventures in Audio, which is the Magical Readathon. So things like that. Because those are annual challenges, I want to pick different books for this challenge than for those challenge. However, if I do a like monthly readathon in addition to those, then I can be duplicative. Like I could choose a book here that I'm also going to be using for a monthly readathon because that usually increases the amount of books I need to read. And while I read a decent amount, I'm usually like anywhere between a 4 and an 8 book girl. That's about all I can do, which is not a lot. All right, so those are the ones here. Now I'm going to go ahead and do these. So I have Tea Party and then I just had the rabbit. So I guess it really doesn't matter which one goes where, if I'm being completely honest with you. Because it doesn't matter if one is like the chest or whatever. Let's see. So community chest is here. So that will be Tea Party. So we'll do Tea Party for community chest. What is my community chest theme? Hold up. Yes. This actually makes sense to do it like this. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So then this is community chest. And then community chest is over here. Now I could have easily created this entire game board on Canva, printed it out and been done with it. Yeah, I just wanted to do it myself. There's some pride. I mean, that was doing it myself, but I just wanted to like write things, color things, do whatever I want. All right, so I'm going to put the Tea Party down. So let's chat about my prompt for the Tea Party. My prompt for Tea Party is book from physical shelf. So nothing like crazy, super simple. I just really need to read books from my physical shelf and I'm just a Kindle girl. So it makes it a little difficult sometimes to read all of the books from my Kindle shelf. I mean, my physical shelf, my Kindle shelf. That's how much of a Kindle girl I am. So that is what this one is. I like the fact that there are 3 prompts on the board. So that increases my odds of landing on that. So, you know, if you are familiar with Monopoly, usually when you land on one of these squares, there's like a deck of cards and then that will kind of guide it. I didn't want to do several prompts and randomly do it. So I'm like, this is just the physical shelf. Now the rabbit. The rabbit is going to be book from Storygraph TBR using a random number generator. There we go. So I had a prompt on here that I was going to do, which was going to be a random TBR, like not random, TBR vet. But because I chose this one, I did take that prompt off because I figured this is kind of like a TBR vet, but I can't choose. It's going to choose for me. I guess I could also do Goodreads. I just don't use Goodreads a lot, so my TBR is a little outdated there. Maybe I'll update it before then, and then I could use either or. But basically what I'll do is I will just go online to a random number generator, type in the number of TBR books that are on that TBR. So if there's like 50, I'll type in 50, randomly generate a number from 1 to 50, and then whatever number pops up, that's the book I'm going to read. So I thought that kind of seemed like chance to me. So this is the ones that's going to go on the chance spot. I don't have a fun name for this one. This is just going to be the White Rabbit reading a book. So we'll just put this guy down here. I figured I don't really need words. You can kind of see the rabbit is on the card. Now, I'm almost wondering, do I need to like flip these guys around then? I guess so. Hope I'm still in frame. Not really. Okay. I feel like I probably need to flip these around because all of these are going to be in that direction. So we'll just kind of make it even. Okay. There we go. All right. Then on the board, I put dots where pictures need to be. Look at that. My board's coming together. And I did little emblems for certain ones that I could find emblems for. So we have 2 down from Community Chest is going to be a picture. So I'm going to start cutting these out real quick. All right, I'm missing one of my little something I printed out, but because how I have everything kind of like sorted, I need to wait until I stick them down to try to find it. I'm missing a little TV. So I have here, this is romance. So genre romance. I am a straight up fantasy book reader. So romance, I do read dark romance, and I think I will allow myself to read dark romance. But we have the hearts there for romance. This is Moon and Star on the cover. That is right up my fantasy romantasy alley. This is a prompt that I've had a lot of success with. So that's the reason why I recreated it for this one. Okay, then we have a thriller. So when I typed in thriller, everything was a knife. So that's what I went with here. So violent, but I'm going to put it on top. I'm going to put thriller on top. New is a new release. We'll put this up and then I'll write release at the bottom. Then we have gothic or horror. Maybe it'll be either or. This is a crow with a skull. I know these are so tiny. I'm probably not in frame again. There we go. It's just I have to push it away from me to be in frame. So this is going to be gothic or horror. This is mystery, the little magnifying glass. And then we have paranormal, the ghost. There were some other images that were a little bit cooler, but when you make them tiny, they just really didn't look that great. And then the last one is the TV. It's for a book or a book that was adapted into a TV or a movie or a TV series. Okay, so I don't have it here. Just found it. And I think I'm going to be a little bit lenient with this one in case I do kind of end up choosing this one. It'll be like has been adapted or will be adapted. All right. There we go. So that's all the images. Now, when we get to everything else, it's just going to be text. And let's talk about colors because, you know, you have three colors that all match. So I was going to like use a Tombow or something like that. This washi fits perfectly in that. So I'm like, let's just use this washi. I think it'll be cleaner. It'll look nicer. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if it'll look nicer, but you know, we can go with it. So I have 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8. I definitely want to use that. I think that one's cool. So we're going to do 1. Maybe we'll do 1, 2, 3. 4. I think those look good together, right? Okay. Let me go ahead and outline everything. So I'm going to obviously speed up this. All right, there we go, guys. I like it. It's so pretty. Oh my goodness. So pretty. So worth all the work. I will tell you the final run time once I finish. I will not keep that a secret, just so you kind of know. Just know I do work a lot slower than others. I need to raise this up just a bit. Let me grab a sticker book. That's probably better. Yeah, that works. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write in my prompts. Yes, I'm going to write them in. That makes me completely nervous. But it's fine. I just didn't want, to type them all up, because at that point I could have just printed this out, and I wanted to have some kind of like homemade look. I know printing it out and putting it all together would have still been homemade, but that's what I wanted to do. So now I'm going to go ahead. I got to figure this out, like how I'm going to put all these on here. So I'm going to just set my book over here, and I'm going to just check them off as I do it. Before I go over these prompts, I do want to apologize for the video quality. I had this in cinematic mode while filming, which means the camera is focusing on certain things and blurring out everything around it. I really wanted to go ahead and publish this video anyways, because I think it could be helpful and give people ideas. But I do really want to apologize for that. I was so bummed when I figured that out. But okay, let's go ahead and talk about these prompts. I will say, in order to fit them in the little blocks, I did have to do shorthand and abbreviations. All right, so here are the prompts. Strong female main character, a book less than 350 pages, one-word title, thriller, new release, which I have to figure out how I'm going to define that. I don't know if I'm going to define it as 2026 or maybe mid-2025 and forward. Continue a new series, audiobook, found family, so that is a trope that I'll try to find, gothic or horror, rebellion, mystery, over 600 pages, cover pick, standalone, book talk hype, paranormal genre, 3-word title, a new to you author, TV or movie adaptation, cover with a weapon, young adults, enemies to lovers trope, nonfiction, hidden identity, 5-star read, romance, author with initials. So obviously everybody has initials, but like they use their initials as their name, or their like first initial and then last full name. That counts too. Retelling, so like a fairy tale retelling, moon or stars on the cover, and finally urban fantasy. All right, there we go. All done. I did change a few things up based on like my, like what I had, previously decided. What I really enjoyed, I think it was a readathon I did where you had to like choose 3 books and then read the first line from each book, and that's how you chose it. But that's just too much to write. So I just did 5-star read, which means basically it's going to be a book where a lot of people have given it 5 stars. So that's the one I'm going to read. And then I added urban fantasy because I was one short. But yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Thriller, when I got to thriller and I couldn't fit it all in there, I'm like, uh-oh, I'm in trouble. So I started using a lot of shorthand. And things like that, but I don't think it looks bad. I really don't. I kind of like the way it looks. This cover with weapon looks horrible, but it's fine. I kind of like the way it looks handwritten, so we're good. Now I'm going to come over to here now. Now I'm going to come over to here now. I think maybe I'll use this one, and I'm going to draw in this. So then that's going to be it. I might do something around the top. I don't think so. I think it's probably what it is. So I'm going to just go ahead and fill this in, and then we'll just come back and it'll all be done. How about that? All right, guys, there we go. So I didn't have room really for the months. So I just put the first letter of each month on there. So January, February, March, April, May, June, and, you know, obviously self-explanatory. I love how this looks. There's a lot more white space than I had thought there would be, but I think I'm okay with it. I don't think I'm going to do anything else. This I think I'm going to leave, even though there's a lot of space here that I could play around with. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'll do something as the year goes on. This is going to be filled with text. I'm going to write the prompt, and then I will write the book that I read. So not my TBR, but what I actually read. I'll do that at the end of the month. I might do the prompt in black and then do what I read, and I'll pick a random color, and then that will be the color that I would do for all of the books. So yeah, that might be how I do this, and I think that's going to help fill up the space because now it's going to be all full of text. So yes, I have 30 prompts here, and I will only be doing 12 throughout the year. If you wanted to do this and make this be your only challenge that you do, and you want to do multiple, then just keep going around the board, and you can obviously just do a simplistic list and then write the total that your dice amounted to. So if you rolled like a 5 and a 6, then you can just write 11 and then write the prompt and just do it in a list format or what have you. A lot of people on BookTube, when they do these, they usually do like readathons or something like that, but they'll pick like multiple books for that month. So they'll just keep going around the board until they pick so many books. Like I said, I'm only going to do one a month, but I think this is fun. I think it was fun. It was fun to brainstorm. It was fun to figure out how I'm going to do this and to set it up. I started thinking while I was doing this that the other challenges I'm going to do, I'm not sure if I'm going to film some of them or not, because I already started penciling in, like I usually do the buzzword reading challenge. I'm filming this in November, so I don't know anything about whether or not it's going to happen. I'm assuming it is. It's from Books and Lala. In 2025, she did a buzzword reading challenge plus a buzzword cover challenge where she had like a prompt of, find something on the cover. So like a snake, you had to find a snake on the cover. So I may do that. So I went ahead and penciled it in just to kind of make sure I had everything kind of spaced out correctly. But you can see if I keep this much space for the prompts and this much space for the covers, I don't have room to decorate. I don't know. I mean, I can always erase this and make it smaller. So we'll have to figure that out because I do like a pretty decorated reading journal. I also did Year of Goober. Again, this might be erased and then I might just do buzzword and goober. I'm kind of leaning toward that right now. So I might actually erase this because I might not do the cover. I feel like with this, the buzzword and then goober, that's from Joshua Corinne. If they do it, that's a lot. And then I can do 2 pages for Adventures in Aldea. And then I will have 2 pages just kind of left if there's anything extra. I'm, reserving 2 pages for Aldea. I'm not sure when that challenge will go out. In 2025, it did not go out until January. So this will be like the more decorated one. So that's why I'm saying there may be another video of me doing challenge setups, but if it's just kind of just drawn in the boxes, I'm not going to film that for you guys. You can see that when I do my flip through. I'll like put links and everything like that to the challenges. But I think this is what it's going to be. Yeah, the more I think about it, I think I'm going to put this here and I think I'm going to erase this and just have this being the Aldea challenge. So there we go, guys. That's what I did today. Only one spread today, but this took me a while. It took me an hour and 15 minutes. But I'm pretty slow when it comes to doing this kind of stuff. And I definitely wanted to take my time when I wrote everything down. No, this is not super like neat, but it could be so much worse if I did not take my time. So that's all I'll say. All right, guys, I hope this gave you some ideas, whether it be an idea for another challenge, showing you ways that I created it in my book, or whether or not you were just here to hear the prompts. Like I said, regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please press that like button. And if you have yet to subscribe, I hope you would also consider subscribing to my channel. That's all I have for now. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, or night. Until next time, bye.